Once you understand the reason why most marriages fail, you can learn how to make a marriage work. A lot of men and women in today's world are very scared and shy away from the ultimate commitment that is marriage. Because it's easy to look around and see how high the divorce rate is. And the reason why most marriages end this way is because they are rooted in modernized liberal beliefs of gender sameness, feminism, and godlessness. Anytime you go into a relationship with the reason you are with someone because you want them and don't need them, then it is bound to fail. I repeat, if the only reason is because you want them and don't need them, then it is bound to fail. A lot of people associate the idea of needing someone with neediness. And there's a huge difference between neediness and necessity. Neediness, on one hand, is rooted in selfishness and insecurities. And of course, anytime you get into a relationship for that reason, yes, it is going to fail. But if it is founded on a necessity that is mutual, then it will last. A necessity is anything that is vital to your survival. Okay? Food and water. If we don't have that, we die. Look at society. To some degree, we all need other people to live, to thrive, to be in good health. For example, think of all the products that you buy that make your life easier, or all the services you solicit because they get rid of problems that you have and improve the quality of your life and of the life of your loved ones. Okay, we do need other people. But when it comes to relationships, you must feel that you both need each other, not from a place of neediness, but from a place of necessity. You're on the same team. It's do or die. You're with each other no matter what. That is how important it must be. For example, if you're in a war zone and you're in a squad with different soldiers and you're getting shot at, you want to know that your teammates have your back, that those men will fight by your side no matter what. This is why when people are trained in military groups, they create such a deep bond, a strong connection to one another. And that is vital for their survival on the battlefield, because then they are taught to rely on one another and be there for each other no matter what. They need one another. And this is the way that you should live in a commitment, in marriage. You need one another. And if you don't have that, you'll never understand it. Why your marriage doesn't seem to work. Because we see a lot of modern men today say things like, well, all women are the same because they eat up all the red pill and MGTOW lies, or they're bitter and spiteful. And then they say, there's no point in getting married. But then they have no problem with engaging in casual sex because they're hypocrites. And anytime they come across a good woman who tells him, listen, I'm saving myself for marriage and I want to build a family, they're so far gone in their own lust that they think she's lying. So these men end up miserable and alone. And of course, some of them do get married only because they want to have the family in the background and have their fun on the side because they're players and they don't want to give up that lifestyle. And on the other hand, we see a lot of modern women say things like, I don't need a man. I'm independent. But yet, when it comes down to it, they feel entitled to the benefit of being with a traditional man just for show or personal gain. So whenever a man or a woman says or desires these things, it implies that they only want a relationship to please themselves and to use the other person to serve their own needs. Guys, pay attention. This implies that your partner is replaceable and easily disposable. And this is the mindset that is responsible for dividing men and women against each other. This is why so many people today are discouraged from the responsibilities that come with marriage and a lifelong commitment. because it's so romanticized in Hollywood and Disney, there are going to be moments when you have misunderstandings, when you might be frustrated with her or vice versa. But you have to pull through. And as I say all the time, you are responsible for the quality of woman that you choose. And ladies, that goes the same way for you when it comes to selecting a man. And when you choose the right partner, you're both marriage-minded, you're compatible, you have mutual chemistry, you're moral. The man is masculine, the woman is feminine. When you both have that, then it can work. Because you can't blame marriage for the reason why the divorce rate is so high. This is because of sinful men and women that get married for the wrong reasons. That is the only reason why marriages are failing. Okay? Marriage is ordained by God, and God's ways are perfect. He created this and he designed marriage to unite a man and a woman together in honor and love so that they can enjoy each other properly. I'm going to share a Bible verse that relates to this, okay? Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 through 12. For two are better than one, because they have a good return for their hard work. If either should fall, one can pick up the other. But how miserable are those who fall and don't have a companion to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they can stay warm. But how can anyone stay warm alone? Also, one can be overpowered, but two together can put up resistance. A 3-ply cord does not easily snap. Okay, it has a strong bond. This is what God desires for men and women. I don't want you to ever forget that men and women are made for each other. We have a true need for each other to build families and create legacies together. And a lot of young people are coming to realize that what the modern world is telling them isn't working. It's tearing apart families, which is why they're looking for answers elsewhere. And some of you have come across relearning relationships. Because trying to apply traditional values to your life because you want a good woman, or for the ladies, just because you want a good man, shouldn't be the reason why you do it. Because then you're not choosing to commit to those values outside of your personal needs. As soon as it becomes too much for you, you can and will easily change your mind and jump to something else that satisfies your desires. Because traditional family values come from faith. Without faith, you're just playing dress up. And you are a true risk for a traditional woman to marry because you're still a lustful guy. You don't know how to lead, protect, and provide for your family. You don't actually want those things. You're just doing it out of loneliness, right? And likewise, a modern woman, for you guys watching, she's going to be a serious liability to you because she won't submit to you. She won't take care of the home or the children. She wants to go out there and be a boss babe and have her career. She thinks serving you and the children are somehow enslavement. When out of all the rights a woman has, the biggest of all is to be a wife and a mother. That is a blessing, okay? And that is amazing, okay? It's beautiful. Guys, marriage is a beautiful thing. The Bible tells us, whoso findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favour of the Lord. Proverbs 18 verse 22. So you can't blame marriage for the reason why marriages aren't working. It's the people that are getting involved with each other, that aren't meant for each other. That's why it's failing. That's it. There's no other reason. You got red pill lustful men, and you got misled feminist women, and they're committing to one another, and it doesn't work. People settle lower their standards. A lot of guys think, oh, if I lead with my wallet and I become a high-value man, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, if I do this and I show her how much money I have, she'll love me for me. Wrong. The only type of women you will attract when you do that are gold diggers. They're transactional. That type of woman isn't a real traditional woman, is she? She's lowering herself to be with you. Likewise, a lot of women think, oh, I know he likes to sleep around and use women, but I will change him. I'll make him different. She's very feminine, very submissive. Oh, he will love me for me. And that guy is too far gone in his own lust. He will never appreciate her. So he ends up hurting her and using her, and then she ends up a single mum or whatever happens to be. And those marriages also don't work out. When you choose the wrong partner, it's not going to work. Half the battle is selecting the right partner to begin with. The rest is committing yourself, is disciplining, is through discipline, through commitment, through faith, through open communication. That's how you make it actually work. Okay? Sometimes you're going to come home, guys, and your woman's going to be talking about her problems, and you'll be dealing with your own things, and you're not going to want to listen to her. And you push her away. You shut her down. You've closed her off emotionally. In those moments where she's trying to communicate, that's when you need to really sit down and listen to her and be present. You keep that connection going. You keep watering love. And it's like for the ladies listening, sometimes your man is going to be stressed out or frustrated with something going on. And that's when you should sit down with him and try and make his life easier. Support him, uplift him. You need to constantly be giving to one another. It's mutual, it's bilateral. That's what a relationship needs. So it's like blaming fat people, right? For example, spoons make people fat. No, it doesn't. You're overweight because you're gluttonous, you're a pig, and you can't stop eating because you lack self-control, right? You can't blame cars for people getting run over. It's the man or the woman behind the wheel who is responsible, right? What about guns? Guns don't kill people. It's bad people who are using a weapon for the wrong reason, to murder in cold blood. Whereas righteous men and women, they will use a weapon for self-defense, to defend their family or themselves if they're in imminent danger. So pointing the finger at marriage and blaming it for why it doesn't work, it's stupid. It takes discipline, it takes work. But if you date the wrong partner, even though you've prepared for marriage, it's still going to fail because the person you selected to commit yourself to wasn't right for you. So if you're single and you're watching this, be very cautious with who you choose. And I will also add to this that living a life for yourself, it won't bring you happiness because we were created by God to love and serve others. A lot of people, when they hear this, they get angry because we've created a culture of selfishness, of narcissism, where anybody can go on Instagram, post a few selfies, and they can be their own, be their own God in a way, it's prideful in of itself. You can go out there and be anything you want. I can do it all alone, me. I don't need others. Take. There's no give. And then when these people get older, I need to try and find someone to commit to. They have never even considered or prepared or planned ahead for the future of what marriage and family entails. And then they wonder why it fails. But the only thing they've been taught to do is to be selfish, is to post your selfies and get a dopamine hit by showing yourself off. Because it's rooted in neediness, low self-esteem, insecurities. Okay? So when you live for your own pleasures, it's a recipe for unhappiness. And you reap what you sow. Doing it God's ways is the only thing that's perfect. That is what I want you all to understand. Marriage is a beautiful thing. And it's designed to bind families together. Right? Youth doesn't preclude you from being a good man, a good father, or a good husband. You don't even need that much life experience before you commit to marriage. If anything, getting married to the right woman will actually help you navigate through a lot of the issues you will face throughout your life. And you will avoid many temptations that otherwise would be difficult to stand before if you were just alone. Please consider what a blessing it actually is to give your most virile years to a woman, and how beautiful it is for a woman in her most fertile years to marry and bear children with you. The decision to spend your life with a godly woman at an early age means you can reap the benefits of your legacy for longer and be together to share the journey of life, forever growing closer and serving as an example of true love for generations to come. So building a family should be the end goal of every man and woman who's mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy. You should desire this. Most people do. But you get hurt by a few people, you get involved with the wrong partner, and you become angry and spiteful, and you think everybody's the same. So you shut down and you live for yourself. That mindset needs to change. Okay? When it comes to commitment, relationship, and marriage, you must prepare ahead of time. Get yourself right with God. Get your morals right. As a man, learn what is required of you to be a man. And for the women watching, do what is necessary of you to be ladylike and womanly. And then go for it. And then you'll be way more ready and at peace when it comes to choosing a partner. You won't be scared thinking they're all the same or they're all bad. Because you will know how to distinguish between someone who is right for you and someone who isn't. Because marriage is a sacrifice for both men and women. Okay? It requires discipline, faith, and commitment. You can't just do what you want. You must be willing to do what is required of you. Both men and women need accountability and limits. And without God, you will always go right back to sin, to lust, to emotions. You know how bad feelings can be sometimes. It's just a temporary thing. And this is what's going to pull you and your woman further apart. Without faith to guide your steps, you will only live for instant gratification and carnal pleasure. So just remember that marriage is a beautiful, lifelong journey that you can have so long as you have prepared for it and you have made certain that you've selected a spouse who has also done the same. You take it from there and you will have a wonderful marriage that won't just benefit you and your future spouse, but your children too. Not to mention everyone around you is going to be quite inspired of the love you have for each other. And nowadays it's become something rare. But if we increase the number of healthy men and women who get together for the right reasons, then the number of successful marriages will go up. And it will just encourage other people to pursue the same. Now, I'm just going to end it on this. For those of you who are watching who are single, you're saving yourself for marriage. You're preparing yourself, right? You're chaste, meaning you don't sleep around. You're maintaining your dignity and your sexual purity. Then what you're doing is wonderful. Keep up the good work. Because a lot of people around you will mock you. The world will laugh at you for this. And don't ever let that discourage you or make you think that you need to fit in with the crowd or maybe you should live like them, okay? Perhaps you're missing out. Do not fall for that trap. When you look at the lives of men and women who sleep around, hook up, and engage in the lifestyle of one-night stands, they end up very lonely. Because a life of promiscuity doesn't just damage yourself, but it actually really wounds your future spouse. Nobody wants to commit to someone who's been ran through, who's had multiple sexual encounters. That's just the reality. Whether you're man or woman watching, if you have integrity and you've kept your dignity intact, you know this to be true. You don't want a partner who's given their body out to so many people. The most valuable thing they have is worth nothing, right? At least to them, that's how they treat themselves. So what you will notice is with all of these people that will point the finger and call you a weirdo or a social outcast because you actually have enough self-control to abstain and wait, what's really going on is they're insecure and they're compensating for what they lack inside by hooking up and engaging by other miserable people of the opposite sex who are willing to participate in their miserable behavior. And what happens is, eventually, these people, they're going to damage their ability to bond because they give bits of their soul and their body out to so many different people. Most of them end up single moms or single dads. They stay in toxic or abusive relationships or marriages that end in divorce. Or they just really settle and they stay there. And they end up with one foot in the grave. They won't be laughing then. And guess what? You won't even be thinking about them because you will be so happy because you have laid the foundation and the bedrock for your future relationship to actually work and last, no matter what. But because they only cared about themselves and living to satisfy their lust, eventually they will reap what they sow and they will pay the price for that. So don't ever be discouraged if you see your friends, which if you do have them, it's wise you should cut them off, or people that you know of who seem to be having fun, going out and hooking up. that lifestyle never has a happy ending. So turn away from them, stay strong in your faith, and move forward. And just remember what awaits you. But for the men and women that do wait, and you do choose the right partner, just remember that God is a matchmaker and he wants what's best for you. God's ways are perfect. And when you do it his way, it will work out for you. Okay? With that said, hope you will have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, of course, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I upload videos weekly. And of course, for those of you that are my long-term subscribers, I just want to say I love every single one of you, and I'm always very appreciative of the lovely comments you leave down below and the messages you send me privately. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next one.